David Gilmour is not the kind of musician who ever needed to shout to be heard. He never chased the spotlight, never sought controversy, and never relied on flashy technical tricks to prove his worth. In a world where rock music often equated to chaos, ego, and bravado, Gilmour chose a different path. Subtlety became his signature, patience his power, and emotional honesty his instrument. Every note he plays carries a depth that words rarely capture, and moments like his iconic solo in Comfortably Numb have made listeners pause, not because of dazzling speed or complexity, but because he speaks directly to the heart. Attention found him, not because he pursued it, but because he offered something rarer than spectacle, a voice that could linger in your soul long after the music stopped. But who is the man behind the guitar? How did a reserved boy from a quiet Cambridge household grow into the emotional core of Pink Floyd? And what shaped a life lived largely in reflection, with music as both a language and a sanctuary? Early life, a childhood of observation. David Gilmour was born on March 6, 1946, in Cambridge, England, a city steeped in history, intellect, and quiet charm. His father, Douglas Gilmour, was a respected zoologist and lecturer, while his mother, Sylvia Wilson, worked as a journalist and later taught film studies. On the surface, he had everything a child might need: stability, opportunity, and exposure to a world rich in knowledge. But at home, there was a subtle distance. His parents were devoted to their careers, leaning more toward logic than emotion, and David learned early to navigate life with observation rather than demonstration. There was warmth, but it was quiet. There were conversations, but they often revolved around ideas rather than feelings. David was not neglected. He simply learned that he would often have to find his own company and his own voice. These years of reflection laid the foundation for a man who would communicate more through music than through words, understanding early that silence could be as expressive as speech. School years. Discovering music. At school, David never quite fit in. He wasn't a model student nor a troublemaker. He was simply someone who moved to his own rhythm, preferring books, drawings, and music to sports or social cliques. His early listening spanned a wide spectrum: the Everly Brothers, Elvis Presley, American folk, Chicago blues, and everything in between. Music was never just entertainment. It was a refuge, a private world he could inhabit alone. At the age of 10, his mother gave him a guitar. Without formal lessons, David taught himself using books, the radio, and endless practice sessions. Hours spent alone in his room were transformative. Music became a way to articulate feelings he could not yet put into words, a space where introspection and imagination met. Through melodies and chords, he found both freedom and expression, learning that the most powerful communication is often quiet, patient, and sincere. Meeting Syd Barrett, a creative spark, while attending art school, David met Syd Barrett, a fellow student whose creativity and charisma would shape the early identity of Pink Floyd. Barrett was flamboyant, impulsive, and unpredictable, while Gilmour was calm, deliberate, and quietly intense. The contrast between them became a catalyst for growth. Barrett brought fire, and Gilmour brought water, steadying the creative energy while letting it flow. Their jam sessions, discussions about sound, and explorations of emotion and melody laid the groundwork for a musical partnership that, while brief, left a lasting imprint. Barrett may have been the initial spark, but it was Gilmour who would carry the flame forward, translating raw emotion into measured, unforgettable music. Early career, finding his place. Before becoming the guiding force in Pink Floyd, Gilmour navigated a period of modest struggle and discovery. In the late 1960s, he played in small bands, living hand to mouth, often exchanging labor or instruments for basic needs. Yet his touch on the guitar was extraordinary. He had the rare ability to silence a room with a single note, to evoke emotion without a word. In 1967, as Barrett's health and reliability declined, Pink Floyd needed support for live shows, and Gilmour stepped in. By 1968, when Barrett officially departed, David inherited both the guitar and the emotional responsibility of the band. He did not assume leadership aggressively. Instead, he led quietly through artistry, patience, and a profound sense of musical empathy. Navigating internal tensions? Even as Pink Floyd reached artistic heights, tensions with Roger Waters emerged. Waters' increasingly conceptual and political approach contrasted with Gilmour's intuitive, emotionally driven style. On albums like Animals, these differences shaped the music subtly, not through confrontation, but through musical dialogue. Tracks such as Dogs carried Gilmour's intricate, unspoken narrative, inviting listeners into introspection. He responded not with debate, but with notes that lingered, proving that emotional truth could stand alongside conceptual rigor. The Wall. Comfortably Numb. When The Wall was released in 1979, Waters' concept dominated headlines, yet it was Gilmour's solos that elevated the album to legendary status. The two-part solo in Comfortably Numb is routinely celebrated not for flash, but for emotional immediacy. Vulnerable, yearning, transcendent, every note conveys human experience. His approach was consistent: serve the song, enhance its feeling, and remain invisible while touching millions, leading Pink Floyd. Post-Waters. Era. Waters' departure in 1985 left the band at a crossroads, yet Gilmour quietly assumed leadership. Albums like A Momentary Lapse of Reason and The Division Bell preserved the Pink Floyd legacy while asserting his own artistic voice. Tracks like High Hopes reflect time, memory, and evolution, showcasing Gilmour's philosophy. Leadership need not be loud to be transformative. Patience, humility, and deep listening became his tools for sustaining creativity without ego or spectacle. Solo work. A personal voice. Gilmour's solo albums offer insight into his artistry independent of Pink Floyd. His debut, David Gilmour, 1978, is intimate and reflective, a sketchbook of blues-inflected melodies. Later works like About Face on an Island and Rattle That Lock expand this exploration, blending rock, jazz, and ambient textures while maintaining emotional depth. Collaborations with his wife, Polly Sampson, bring lyrical intimacy to his music, exploring fatherhood, love, and reflection. These works reinforce a truth he has always embraced: sincerity and patience resonate more than flash. Live performances. Music as ritual. Gilmour's concerts, including Live at Dansk and Live at Pompeii, exemplify his approach. Music becomes shared meditation, emotional journey, and ritual. Surrounded by orchestras or playing solo, he creates immersive experiences, emphasizing atmosphere, storytelling, and emotional resonance over technical exhibition. Audiences do not witness spectacle. They witness connection, subtlety, and sincerity. Personal life. Privacy and partnership. Gilmour's private life mirrors his musical ethos: introspective, principled, and quietly nurturing. His first marriage lasted nearly 2 decades, providing stability amid the pressures of Pink Floyd's rise. In 1994, he married Polly Sampson, forming a creative partnership that deepened his artistic voice. Their collaboration illustrates the harmony between personal life and art, grounded in intimacy rather than spectacle. He protects his family and personal space, valuing depth, reflection, and calm above public attention. Principles and integrity. Consistency defines Gilmour's life. Whether it's standing by Sampson's public statements, auctioning his blackstrap for charity, or making personal decisions quietly, he demonstrates a commitment to ethics and authenticity. He does not seek attention. He lets values guide his choices. In a world dominated by flash and fame, his example shows that integrity can be enduring and powerful. Legacy and influence. David Gilmour reshaped the guitar's role in rock, emphasizing emotional resonance over speed or technical display. Solos In Time, Comfortably Numb, and Shine on You. Crazy Diamonds speak directly to the heart, inspiring musicians like Mark Knopfler, John Frusciante, and Ed O'Brien. He helped architect Pink Floyd's cinematic, emotionally rich soundscapes, producing albums that remain timeless and meditative. Offstage, his humility, philanthropy, and patience model a life where depth outweighs visibility. Conclusion: silence that speaks. David Gilmour never sought legend. He achieved it quietly through mastery, focus, and emotional honesty. In a rock world driven by ego, speed, and spectacle, he demonstrated that subtlety, patience, and sincerity can resonate far more profoundly. Every sustained note, every carefully shaped phrase, communicates volumes words cannot reach. His legacy is not measured in awards, but in the capacity to make listeners pause, reflect, and feel. Gilmour teaches that music and life are most powerful when they speak from quiet truth, and that depth, integrity, and beauty are timeless.